Here is Jonathan Chait. And he says that polarization has given any major party nominee a high enough floor of support that the term unelectable has no real place in the discussion. That said, the totality of the evidence suggests Sanders is an extremely, perhaps uniquely risky nominee. We do not have a particularly, I'm going to say, we do not have a particularly strong slate of candidates who can be elected president. There is no Obama who has tremendous political gifts. There is no Clinton who had tremendous political gifts. We don't have one of those in this race. We're also in a very, very specific era with a president that is, with an incumbent president that is really largely, at least in the modern era, completely, I would say, totally unique in terms of their rise. First business person, first person who was not involved in institutional party politics. It's considered uniquely corrupt, who has been grotesque. So the idea that you could even make the assessment that any of these nominees are uniquely risky is absurd. It's absurd. They're all risky, or they're all not. I mean, the biggest risk is that you're going to have somebody who simply is not like physically up to the task. And I think that really only Joe Biden fulfills that. To say that there's anybody uniquely risky, it has to be Joe Biden. Because Joe Biden is like, he's not taking any questions. He's losing his cool at every, we could play a video of him going after supporters, like a half a dozen supporters. The latest one, let's play this clip of Joe Biden. Here's a guy who come up to ask him, Joe Biden is so off his game that he is projecting onto people now stuff. Look how easy it was to get under his skin. Joe Biden's approached by a very mild-mannered voter. And Joe Biden is so thrown off by this that he's lobbing weird accusations at him. Here, play this.
I'm going to support you if you win the nomination because we got to get rid of Trump. But what are we going to do about climate change? Now, you say you're against pipelines, but then you want to replace these gas lines. That's not going to work. We got to stop building and replacing pipelines.
You got to go vote for somebody else.
All right, thanks so much, sir. Guys, we're going to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to vote you in the general if you treat me right.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm not.
Well, can I have a picture?
You're asking a picture of me. You're coming up and telling me you don't support me.
No.
My plan. Yeah, you did. You said
I said I will support you in the general.
In the general. I'm looking for a primary.
We're happy to get a number. We can follow up.
That's what I'm looking for, okay?
Just because we're trying to get.
You believe that Bernie can do something by 2030?
I'm actually supporting Tom Steyer.
Tom Steyer, well, that's good. He's the guy that did
Thanks
more
so much,
coal
sir. We have
mining.
a long line right
All
there.
right, pause it. So do you see what happened here? The guy comes up and says, look, I want you to know right at the beginning, I'm going to support you in the general. But I want to talk to you about climate change. I'm concerned about your policy about pipelines. And he goes, go vote for somebody else. Well, I'm going to support you in the general. Yeah, I don't care. I need you to vote right now. So I'm not going to waste my time talking to you. And the guy says, and he goes, go vote for Bernie. And he grabs him by the lapel. Like, what kind of guy does this? He physically grabs him by the lapel. Go vote for Bernie. Oh, I'm actually voting for Tom Steyer. Now, here's the problem. This guy's so defensive now that he just alienated someone who could have voted for him in the caucus, because Tom Steyer has a very good chance of not making it, not being viable. And so when this guy is sitting in that caucus and Tom Steyer does not have the votes, if this guy's caucusing, he's going to go to somebody else. And Joe Biden just immediately gave away that vote. This is not somebody who is equipped to run a political campaign. It is grueling. It is tiring. If you are letting it get to you in this way, you're simply not equipped to do it. So if you're talking about somebody who's uniquely risky, there's evidence for Joe Biden being uniquely risky. I'm not even sure you can say uniquely risky, but if that's what you're going to write, if you're going to say that one candidate is uniquely risky, and I've just shown you that, and there's a half a dozen of those, literally a half a dozen of those exchanges, maybe more, where Joe Biden is alienated potential votes in the primary, in a caucus. This is literally the first sentence of the second graph. Sanders is uniquely risky. In other words, no one else is as risky as him. If you do not think that Joe Biden is as risky as a bet as Bernie Sanders, then your premise is completely skewed. If you do not think that Pete Buttigieg, a man who is married to another man, when we are 15 years out from when having amendments to state constitutions that gay people should not be able to marry is not also risky. If we've just gone through an election where misogyny undoubtedly played a role, was it determinative? I don't know. But that's also risky. It's all risky. And as soon as you say that one person's uniquely risky and it's not the one who is actually like literally saying like, I don't vote for me and because you're voting for Bernie. Oh, it's Tom Steyer. Oh, shoot. I just blew a chance of picking up an actual vote in a caucus state.